You cannot run away from pain, but you can allow it to become your path to paradise. In this life, you'll experience sorrow, heartbreak, and deep wounds. There will be moments when the burden feels too much to bear. Yet, it could be that through this very pain, Allah is guiding you to a place your acts of devotion alone could never have brought you to. Mutarif ibn Abdullah, rahimahullah, once shared an incident. One Friday, we visited a graveyard. As we arrived, a funeral prayer was being held, so I joined in, hoping for the reward. After that, I performed 2 quick rakahs just outside the cemetery since I was feeling tired. Later, I went to sleep, and in my dream, I saw the person for whom the funeral was held. He asked me, "You prayed 2 quick units of prayer, right?" I replied, "Yes." He responded, "You act without knowing the true weight of your deeds, and we the dead know their worth, but can no longer act." Then he said, "To perform a prayer like yours would be more precious to me than the entire world and everything within it." I asked him, "Who is buried here?" He said, "Everyone here is a Muslim and has done well." I then asked, "Who among them is the best?" He pointed to a specific grave. In the dream, I made dua, "O Allah, bring him out to me so I can speak with him." A young man rose from that grave, someone I didn't recognize. I asked, "Are you really the most righteous among those here?" He answered, "That's what they say." Curious, I asked, "Was it due to your night prayers, or your pilgrimage, or your striving in Allah's path?" He said, "None of those." Then he explained, "I went through hardship, and Allah granted me patience through it. That is what elevated me above the others." Sometimes Allah places a trial in your life not to punish you, but to raise you to a rank you couldn't have reached through worship alone. And once you leave this world, He will show you how He fulfilled His promise. One story always comes to mind, and it has never felt more vivid than now. Imam al-Awza'i, rahimahullah, narrated from Abdullah ibn Muhammad, rahimahullah, who said, "I was once assigned as a patrolman, and our post was by the shore near Al-Arish in Egypt. As I arrived, I came across an open area with a tent. Inside the tent was a man with no arms, no legs, and impaired hearing and sight. Reflect on how many in Gaza today resemble this man with severe injuries, yet strong in faith." Abdullah continued, "The only part of his body that functioned was his tongue, and he was repeating, 'O Allah, enable me to praise you in a manner that shows my gratitude for the blessings you've given me and for preferring me over so many of your creation.' I approached him and greeted him. Then I asked, 'I heard your dua, but what blessings are you speaking of? You appear to be in a very difficult condition. In what way do you feel that Allah has favored you over others?' He responded, 'I'll tell you, but on one condition, that you do me a favor.' I agreed. He said, 'Some people are deaf, but I can still hear. Some have no mind, but I can still think. Some are mute, yet I can still speak. And just for the gift of being able to praise Allah with my tongue, I'll continue thanking Him endlessly.' Then he told me about his young son, who used to come help him perform ablution, feed him, and bring him water. But the boy had been missing for 3 days. So I went to search for him, and soon I reached a valley where I saw crows circling. I found the boy's body being eaten by them. My heart sank. How could I return and tell this man that his only son had died? I went back and gently tried to prepare him. I said, 'O man, are you more honorable to Allah, or was the Prophet Ayyub alayhi salam?' He replied, 'Of course, Ayyub.' I continued, Then don't you remember how Allah tested him in his wealth, health, and family? He said, yes. I asked, and how did Allah find him during those trials? He replied, patient and grateful, always praising Allah. Then I told him, be patient, for Allah has taken your son. The man said, indeed, we belong to Allah and to Him we return. He wept heavily and said, all praise is due to Allah, who did not give me a child that would grow up to disobey Him. He wept until he passed away from grief. I covered him with a cloak and sat beside him, waiting for someone to pass by. Eventually, 4 men came and asked what had happened. I shared the story and uncovered the man's face. As soon as they saw him, they wept, kissed his forehead and hands, and said, this is Abu Qilaba al-Jurmi, a companion of Ibn Abbas. They knew him for his deep love for Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We washed and shrouded both him and his son, prayed the funeral prayer, and buried them together. Later that night, I went to sleep and saw him in a dream, walking through a beautiful garden in paradise, wearing garments from Jannah and reciting, peace be upon you for what you patiently endured, and what an excellent final home. I asked him, weren't you the man I was with earlier? He replied, yes. I asked, how did you receive all of this? He said, with Allah, there are stations in paradise that cannot be reached except through patience in hardship and gratitude during times of ease. Truly, the trials you face with patience bring you closer to rewards that comfort could never unlock. Every hardship you endure with Sabr is building a place for you in paradise, one that ease would never have led you to. So take a moment to reflect. Have you thanked Allah, not just for the blessings, but for the tests? And have you appreciated those who stood by you, especially when you were still learning and struggling? My Lord, allow me to do righteous deeds with what remains of my life. No, it is but a word He utters, and behind them is a barrier until the day they are resurrected.